direct actions for revocation to the central division. Because you cannot get only Europe-wide injunctions, you can get a patent revocated also Europe-wide. Currently, you have in Europe the problem that if you want to challenge a patent, you have to go through the opposition procedure with the European Patent Office. And if you do not get a remedy in the opposition procedure, you have to pursue before the boards of appeal of the European Patent Office. Now that can take up to 6 or 7 years. And during that time, in a number of our member states, when in the case of an infringement action, you are the defendant and you say, but that patent should not have been granted, the judges will tell you we cannot deal with the question of validity of the patent as long as the opposition procedure, including the appeal procedure, is still pending before the EPO. And therefore we are envisaging in this new court system that you do not have to go through the opposition procedure. You can go directly to court, directly to the central division, where you should normally get a judgment within 1 year. So there are a number of safeguards built in, and we really think there is no risk that we will encourage the appearance of trolls in Europe.
Okay, thank you, Margot, and I hope it took away some of the fears. Edith, the other meaning of
on the collaborative research. If I would have the answer for this collaborative research, then probably I would be much richer than I am. But just because we do not have the answer to all questions, there is no reason to not answer the questions which we are aware. Let me answer your question from another point of view. For 10 years in Europe, we are talking about to achieve the 3% of GDP for research Barcelona targets. And so far, we could get it only in very few countries. Actually, in those countries, when the intellectual property rights are much better respected and managed than in some others. And it means that both the national states and the investors from the private sphere look research rather a cost than investment for the future. And I think this has to change, and IPR is one tool to move it from cost to investment. It may well create some administrative burden for those who haven't got it in the past, but if it drives you from the cost to investment, I think it has some value. As I said, I do not have all the answers, but I think that this procedure and these 10 years we turn knowledge to the fifth freedom, it's opportunity to be innovative, find solutions for those questions which we are not able to answer individually or common here in the European House. Certainly it will not stop me to think to make a step forward for those answers which can be worked out.
Okay. Any of the other panelists? No?
My name is Pavel Berka. I am coming from silly country, Czech Republic. As you know, our presidents still have a problem to sign the agreement of Lisboa. So I hope that through the Swedish presidency we will make a step forward. I will have one question and 2 comments. First of all, where are the bankers? I don't necessarily mean the commercial bankers, but I mean the bankers coming from Council of Europe, Development Bank, EBRD or European Investment Bank. It's more easier to build highway or the railways because there are more strong lobbyists who can protect funds coming from European Union and co-finance from this financial institution. This is the first question. And to 2 comments, I expect that we have not forget WTO, where exists interesting treaty related to the intellectual property rights. And unfortunately, this organisation is a member-driven organisation rather than the subject-driven organisation, and especially the fight which we have as a Czech Republic with copying our products in China. I have an example, micro motorcycle Blata. and the owner of this company have to ask the police in Cyprus to block the shipment of this motorcycle coming to Europe. And the second comment, I would like to return to the comment regarding what is innovation. I would like to remind you one well-known Czech who was a Harvard University professor, which is Joseph Anthony Schumpeter, and he called it a creative distraction. So it means this innovation is basically a creative distraction, to do something better than we are doing now. Japanese have for that a very nice word, is a kaizen, or continuous improvement. So, thank you.
Any of the panelists?
Thank you. Being a member of the Budget and the Budget Control Committee, I'd like to make a comment what you made on the finance. Actually, when you are looking at the European Union budget year 2010, is something 120 billion euro, 6% of it is dedicated for research and development. So twice bigger than Barcelona targets. Great, isn't it? But unfortunately, European budget is only 1% of the budget or GDP of the European Union. So not so great, isn't it? And if we look how it's used, the 6%, then you will find that the financial regulation of EU is not supportive of research, basically simply because the political criteria for EU money expenditure is zero risk with people money. And zero risk is just simply not good for research project, because research is not a zero risk project. Therefore, we have got the money, 6% fine, but when we are looking at its expenditure and how we spend it, then certainly when you are longer time in the budget control committee, then you will learn that not the best researcher, but the best accountant who will get more than once the money from the European institution. And if something has to be challenged in the next 5 years, but it's certainly not the topic of the intellectual property rights panel. But yes, we know it. Yes, we face it. Yes, we try to improve it. Certainly financial regulation to that direction has to be adjusted and modified if we want to make it better.
I would just like to support the comment that the essence of the intellectual property rights is, of course, their enforcement. The worst situation is when you have theoretically strong rights enshrined in law that are not properly enforced, because that results in high prices for counterfeits and no risk for the counterfeiters. So indeed the enforcement, and especially in an internal market, the external border control is absolutely crucial to make credible any intellectual property system at a European scale.
Okay, thank you. Very brief, please.
If I could add to this, because I would totally share the view that enforcement is vital, and enforcement is vital in the EU, but enforcement is vital at all the EU borders. And you must be in a position that you can stop counterfeit products wherever they come in the EU. We have a very powerful tool to that end. This is the European Customs Regulation, where you can ask the customs authorities to seize counterfeit products in harbours, airports, wherever they come in. But unfortunately, I do not know about your products, what type of products you had, and whether the products you have had seized in Cyprus were violating a patent or a trademark. Because in the case of trademark regulations, if somebody has a community trademark,